So Dr. Joe, how did you actually start your career as a musician?
Oh, I started training very young. I started with Suzuki method, and then I was lucky enough to get a very enthusiastic teacher. And then around 14, 15, I decided I was going to be serious. I wanted to be a very good violinist, so I started practicing a lot. Started working with a very fine teacher. I did my university degree, and then I studied at the Royal Academy of Music for my Masters, but that degree brought other issues of music into my thoughts, not just I want to play faster and louder and play the Tchaikovsky violin concerto perfectly. Also my experience in Germany had influenced me. I've met a lot of people who are competition violinists, you know, and very intense people, and I saw what I might become if I went down that particular path of music.
So you're a war dog?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. However, I still love virtuoso violin, so I still practice. However, the master's degree at the Royal Academy of Music, I was lucky enough to yeah, they influenced me into becoming more of an educator, but from the point of view of an undergraduate, sort of 19, 20-year-olds older. And I did a PhD, and I got a job doing some postdoctoral work at the Academy. That was research, and then I had a research position in Scotland, looking at music within technology and how people disseminate their music that they've collected. And then I get a job now. I've got a job in Devon. But again, it's a job which is not just about playing. It's a job about how do you conceive of your music, how do you think about yourself as a performer, as a producer of music. What is your audience, and how do you interact with them through music? How do you communicate your music? And those are the things that I like to talk about, I like to teach, and I like to practice them through my own music. That's what I'm trying to do. So that's my music career, and I make a good living, but it's not a great living. If you're going to be a musician, you have to be prepared to be poor. However, there is work out there, and it's a great job. It's a great profession to be in any sense. You can be a player, you can be a manager, you can be a researcher, somebody who researches music for film, for example. There's not much stress in it. You know, you're listening to great music, you're doing what you're generally working with what you love. And the people are fun as well, they're interesting. They're kind of weird sometimes, but they're fun, so yeah, that's me, for sure.
That's a wrap.
No. Pros and cons.
Did he just say it?
No, just that.
Is that a wrap? You still recording?
Oh yeah. Dr. Joe, what do you personally think? Like, what do you think is the pros and cons of being a musician?
Pros?
Yeah.
I kind of said it at the end there. You have a life which is filled with interest people, but it can be boring. You can work with people who are pretty thick. You know, there's a lot of, but again, there's thick people in every profession. The cons are there's not much money. You know, you have to work hard for your money sometimes. You know, there'll be times when you're playing away and you think, why am I doing this? The money's dreadful. It's cold. The food is crap. The people are horrible. However, then you go and play a concert with the same people and the same orchestra, and suddenly the world opens up for you. Or even Montague. So, yeah, the pros are you're working with fantastic stuff. The cons is it can be a bit of a hassle sometimes, but that's the same with me.
So were there times when you wanted to quit your job?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, never. I always wanted to be a musician.
Oh.
And that's hard. I mean, the secret to being a musician is staying in it. That's the secret. Don't give up. Always just, you know. Other people will fall by the wayside. You know, you'll make a living somehow. Teaching, playing, you know. If you love being a musician and dealing with all types of music, then yeah, sure. I mean, one thing that might be worth mentioning is that if you want to be a specialist, you have to go to a big centre. Paris, New York, Sydney.
Wait, specialist, like teaching specialist, or?
Yeah, any kind of specialist. If you want to specialise in classical music, you want to specialise in jazz, you have to go where there are a lot of people. If you're in a city where there's a small amount of people, or a small amount of musicians, then diversify. Be a general person. Play some jazz. Play some, play some backing for rock and pop stuff. Yeah, that way you'll always get the work. All right.
Yeah, I think that's done for our questions. Thank you, Mr. Dr. Joe.